to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, WIZE, and today's guest helps Gen X professionals stop performing roles they're outgrown and start building work that actually feels like theirs. She spent decades in consulting and tech, climbing ladders she didn't build until she realized her job title had become her identity. Now she coaches midlife professionals who aren't trying to retire or escape work, but want ownership, clarity, and something real. She helps them navigate the fear, fatigue, and reinvention that come with starting over without blowing up their lives. If you're successful on paper but restless inside, this conversation is for you. So let's welcome to the show, Shelley McIntyre.
Oh,
Hello.
nice to see you.
Oh, thank you. Once again, sorry about the. I was in doing some work and I got engulfed and then I was like, oh my God, the
It
podcast.
happens.
How are
Happens.
you today?
Good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So, at what point did you realize you were climbing ladders you didn't actually build?
I always had kind of a troubled relationship with the corporate world. I was trying to fit in for a really long time, and I did what a lot of other people do is they put on the armor and they wear the right clothes and they learn all the jargon and then they see if they can get away with it for a really long time. And and after a while, like I think it was as I was approaching the age of 50 where I stopped being able to get away with it in my heart. Not not on the outside. On the outside it was going fine. But for me it was like, you know what? This is not working for me anymore. And because I'm getting older and I've collected some wisdom, I'm having trouble faking it anymore.
Yeah. I turned 50 this year, and
Congrats.
and yeah, it's really different now. Yeah, I'm at the point where I it's I don't know. I guess every year I lose less, more filter is just like you're actually being much more honest, I guess, that you can say. You just be more with me. I find that I just tend to be just blunt about things much more frequently.
Yeah, like the way I hear from a lot of clients that I work with is like all the F's are leaving the building.
Yes, yes, that exactly that right there. So why do you say so many Gen X professionals feel successful and empty at the same time?
Well, I think that, the traditional trappings of success are all external,
Mhm.
right? Are you making enough money? Do you have respect? Do you have a fancy title? Do you have all these external indicators of your self-worth, of your worthiness as a person? We all belong to this hustle culture, and that culture says that when you go to a party, you have to have a really good, impressive answer to the question, what do you do? And we we somehow get fooled over time into thinking that's a real reflection of who we are on the inside, but it never was. But it's hard to really know that when you're getting these, you have a good job and you're getting promotions and you have a fancy title that maybe your family doesn't understand at all, but sounds fancy to you, and other people know what a product manager is, right? Like it sounds good, like you manage a product,
But
but it what we don't talk about underneath that is that the system that bequeathed this role to you, they're really messed up. And the people who are running it don't really know what they're doing. And a lot of major decisions are made from a state of panic. And if they really saw what was going on under the covers, it would be like the Wizard of Oz moment. And we're all pretending that this is normal.
yeah, absolutely. So what does corporate life quietly take from people over decades that no one warns us about? Like, I know for my generation it was okay. Work for this for work for a company for years, retire, and get the golden and like that has just disappeared. Like for people coming up in my age, that's just not reality for us. Like a lot of people I remember growing up, they worked at jobs for 20, 30 years and then retired, and
Yep.
it's just not the same for us Gen Xers.
Yeah, it's really not a thing anymore. Like, listen, I know a few people who worked for one company for almost their entire careers, and they're our age. That is so rare now because we hop around to a lot of different companies. But you asked like what the corporate world takes away from people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the well, let's see. I'm going to answer it in kind of a flipped way. The corporate world provides a lot of things to people and convinces them that that's all they need to feel content in their lives. So it takes away your agency and your creativity. So if you get absorbed by some big corporation who gobbles up all of your time and your energy and tells you that every creative idea you have belongs to them, that if you come up with an idea on the job, it's no longer your idea, it's their idea now to profit from as they would like, then you're really stripped of the juice that makes you a vibrant human. And this is not true in every case. Some people get along just fine in that world for a long time. But what I really see when I work with clients is that when they get out, they're like, whoa, wait a second. I have to start from a blank page. I need to rebuild my social life because I got all of my social connections from my job. I have to find a sense of meaning and purpose. I need to feel intellectually engaged. I need positive emotions throughout the day. I have to build all of that by myself now. And and I think that moment really clarifies for people how much of their life juice they gave away to a corporation for a really long time. And it's a hard moment of grieving that people go through when they realize that.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's and I've been at my job now. I'm going on my 12th year at being at this job, and this is probably the longest job I've ever held. And yeah, it's wearing thin, like to the point where I'm really working harder on building what all the things that I'm building now. And so I've and so when I launched the podcast in 2020, I was furloughed from my job because of the pandemic and everything. And when I started podcasting, something you mentioned was purpose. Discover when a lot of these people, when they leave their corporate jobs, is discovering their purpose. And when I got furloughed from work and I didn't have that identity of my job, and I started podcasting and I started creating content that was resonating with people, and people were actually listening, and they were gaining something from the podcast. It kind of made me discover like what was my purpose, why am I here, what am I supposed to be doing. And podcasting gave me that. It gave me the opportunity to create a platform where people come on and share their stories, and hopefully someone out there can benefit from any of the conversations I have, because I know I've grown and benefited from a lot of the kind of conversations that I've had. And that was like once I finally got over the initial fear of releasing a episode, because it was just so many issues, like just me, so much self-doubt and self-talk, talking about, "No, I couldn't do this, who's gonna want to listen to me." And when I finally decided to just release an episode, it was like, okay, here I go.
And you did something really important when you started that podcast too. You started tipping the scales of the amount of energy and attention that your job was taking up versus what you were building on the outside. And this is, exactly what you did is what I recommend to clients to start doing, which is find something on the outside. Don't make your job do too much work,
Hmm.
right? Right
Yeah.
now, our day jobs have to do so much work. They have to provide us with this sense of purpose and provide us with our social outlets and provide like it has to do too much. It's like making your spouse your best friend in your whole world. Like it's too much. Go get some other friends.
And no, and it's absolutely, you're absolutely right. Because yes, I've been able to build friendships at work. Yes, but podcasting has given me the ability to network and connect with people who are doing something that I love to do, and it's giving me connections to and opportunities to things that I've never been like. Just some of the opportunities that are arising now from podcasting is just amazing. Like, and again, it's and these relationships that I'm building through podcasting, they actually feel more like relationships than transactional when it's sort of when you're dealing at work and it's more of a transactional friendship because
Yep.
you're at work and you spend all this time at work with this person. So it's really, but when you actually get to build relationships that are based on things that you actually love doing, it's a completely different dynamic.
Yeah, and that can be a bewildering moment for some people too, where, you get into a new community. And I went through this too, when I was leaving my job, and I met this new community, and I was so accustomed to saying, here's my job title, and here's where I work, and I would get like, ooh, that sounds cool, right? When I met people in this new community, they were like, we don't understand what that is. We don't care what that is. Just tell us about you because we're interested in you. And I was like, oh, this feels very exposing, right? But it is a more authentic way to connect with people, and it's going to last beyond the job.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people are really surprised when they leave a job. They believe, and it's kind of true on a sort of transactional basis, that they have really good friends at work. And that's true while you're at work. But when you leave, you cease to serve a purpose for those people. They don't need you anymore. So they're not going to call you. And that can be really a hard thing for people who haven't set up a strong social network outside of their jobs.
Yeah, and like I said, being able to podcast has given me that outlet, has given me that opportunity to build lifelong friendships with people because we bonded on something that we all love to do. Like
Yeah.
next week, actually, I'll be in Orlando for Podfest.
Oh, yeah, that sounds great.
I'm so excited because this will be the third time I attend, and it's just getting to be hang out with so many people who've experienced the stuff that I've experienced in podcasting, and then so many newbies who are coming who are just getting the experience. So it's exciting when I get to network with people and just have a good time.
Yeah, and my hunch is that before you started this, you probably didn't anticipate that this was going to be one of the big outcomes for you when
No,
you started your podcast.
no, nothing, and I didn't envision any other things that I've been able to accomplish in the if I, in the now going on 6 years of podcasting. Like I've done some at first it was just me just challenging myself. It's like, hey, I want to launch an internet radio station, and my nephew was like, okay, well, go ahead. And so I launched the internet radio station without really knowing the dynamics of what, but I just like, you know what, I want to do it. I want to launch a publishing company. Okay, what does that entail? Okay, this you need to do this. Learned about ISB and then KDP, and I learned how to self-publish books. it was just me just wanting to learn and just okay, just challenging myself to do something that I had never done before. But podcasting was that first step. It's the thing that was like, okay, I did something that I had never done before, and I challenged myself. All right, now what else can I challenge myself to do?
Yeah. It's like a magnet, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about starting something new in midlife, right? We we think when we get into it like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to learn this stuff. But we have learned the weirdest stuff in the past. We've navigated these corporate systems. We have all of this weird jargon and acronyms that nobody else understands. Of course we can learn like how to be a self-publisher.
yeah,
It's just scaffolding, right?
yeah.
We can learn all of it.
I a lot of the stuff I learned at YouTube University. It was like there's a video for everything. Like
Yep.
there's a video for everything. And so it okay. I get to see it visually. Now I get to all right. This is what I need to do, and I get to do it. So for me, it was like okay. Yeah, I can learn from reading as well. Yes, but seeing it visually is like okay. Oh, all right. That's what it is. Okay, then let me go ahead and do it. So it was just me, and I continue to challenge myself. Like there's so many other things that I've been able to learn how to code and build my website, and like these are all skills that I've learned past the age of 44. Like
Yeah.
this is stuff wasn't I wasn't in this lane. It wasn't this wasn't was I was this wasn't my field. And so once I dove into it, I was just like, all right, let me learn. Let me just okay. What's this tool? Oh, let me do that. And that's how I continue to this day. That's just me continuously learning.
Yeah. And there's something important in here. And there's this thing called the end of history illusion. And it's this belief that, we can look 15 years behind us and say, whew, a lot changed in those 15 years. I'm a different person. I did so many different things. But if we look 15 years into the future, most of us go, no, things are going to be about the same. I probably won't change much. And that's an illusion.
Oh, I can tell you in just these past 6 years now that I've changed so much, and I've it's weird to say this, but I've done some amazing things in these past 5 years that prior me wouldn't have thought I would have been able to accomplish.
Okay, that's a perfect thing to use as a tool for anybody who feels stuck in their job right now
Mhm.
and who imagines something different for themselves. Wouldn't it be great if 5 years from today, you could say to yourself and your friends, in the last 5 years, I've accomplished so many things that I never thought I would. Like, what if we could just zoom forward and reflect on a 5 year chunk of time and everything that could be possible? And we don't even know what that is yet. You didn't know you were going to end up with a whole podcast community of great friends, right? If we can be open to possibilities and say yes more than we're saying no, some crazy cool stuff is going to happen.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that most definitely. So, why does fear keep people stuck for so long? Like, why is it that we're afraid to take that leap? Because a lot of us are afraid. They're afraid to take that leap because they're, I guess, it gives them a sense of security
Mhm.
doing what they're doing and whatever it is, and so they're not afraid to take that leap.
Yeah, although that security, if you're working in the corporate world or in government or in healthcare or in pick an industry, that security is pretty thin.
Hmm.
I mean, we feel safe in our jobs and we recognize that, oh, a team right next to me just got laid off, or oh, there are budget cuts and this whole department doesn't exist anymore. But we just kind of cling to our little jobs and pretend that it's not coming for us. So we can hold on to, a sense of security, but it's a false sense of security. And intellectually, we know that, but emotionally, it's really hard to get that message. So that's one piece of fear that holds people in place. Another one is logistics, and finances are a big part of those logistics. So people are like, well, I'll never be able to make this much money. I'll never be able to get health insurance. I'll be completely alone. I'll be living under a bridge eating cat food. And and all of those fears are addressable. There are, we're in a gig economy now where people are cobbling together different revenue streams. And again, it's going back to this openness of making money and living your life differently than you used to, not relying on a single income source. And people are going to have to get crafty, but it's all possible.
Oh yeah, no, it's if I've learned anything in the past 6 years, it's things change, and you even regardless of your age, you can evolve and grow, and it's allowed me to find multiple streams of generating income by learning certain skills that now people I know people who hate editing and audio and video and just hate it. And so, but it was a skill that I developed and I enjoy doing it. And so it's something now I'm able to offer that service to someone if they have a show, they don't want it. Hey, I'll do it. It was something that I just developed because of my love for podcasting, and it wasn't, it's just, I just find joy in being able to do it. And just that, like I said, that it's not work.
Yeah.
When I'm doing something and I'm listening and I'm able to help someone improve it on their craft, and so it's like podcasting has opened up so many possibilities for me. And
Nice.
but again, it was me stepping out of my comfort zone and making myself uncomfortable to be able to for any of this to happen.
Yeah, and you tried on a new identity. And I think that's the third thing that can keep people really stuck where they are is they fear the loss of their identity and that they're just like, I don't know, putting on one of those masks that has no features on it.
Yeah.
So people get a lot of their identity from their work. And they feel self assured saying, I'm a vice president of whatever, I run the whatever. And they get respect and credibility from it. And if you take that title away or the association with that company away, a lot of people go like, well, who would I be?
Mm.
And I don't want to lose the credibility that I get, the clout that I get by having this job and just being a nobody. It's actually deeply scary to some people just to go out and be a person because they've always been told that in order to be a valued person, you need to have this job or this title or make this much money. And so a lot of the work that I do with clients is around identity building.
So what changed when you stopped letting your job title define you?
Yeah, well, first, I I did that while I was still working, and then I got real bad at my job. It was hard to keep caring, right? When you see the wizard and you see that he's just a dude, you're like, "Oh, I can't phone it in. I can't do it anymore." So I think I really took my eye off the ball. And then I also started just following my curiosity.
Mm.
And while all my friends were reading books about strategy and technology, I started paying attention to what I was reading about on the weekends. And it was personal development and immersive theater and innovations in death care. It was all sorts of random stuff.
Yeah.
And when I decided to leave, my first choice was like, I'm just going to follow my curiosity and see where it leads me. I'm not going to put a lot of requirements on reclaiming a title. I knew I didn't want to go back into the corporate world. So I thought I'm going to have to make some of this work. And kind of like you, it was just over 5 years ago. My last day at my corporate job was the first week of lockdown for
Uh-oh.
COVID.
Yeah.
So everything I thought I was going to do, I couldn't do, which put me into this really intense learning mode.
Yeah. That I was furloughed from work for like 3 months. And in those 3 months, I just spent a lot of time in self development and just improving on because once I decided to finally stop being afraid and challenge myself, I was like, okay, at the same time, I don't know anything, so I need to start learning. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what an RSS feed was, what platform I was going to use to release. I didn't know. I didn't have a clue. I didn't know anyone that was podcasting, so I just like, okay, let me start doing the research. Let me just start finding out what is it that I need to do to do this.
Yeah.
But it was once I went down the rabbit hole, it was just like I just couldn't stop.
Isn't that a good feeling?
Oh, it's an amazing
Man,
feeling.
I love that. One of the things I do on the side is ancestry research. And when I start researching a family or a branch of my own family, and then I like find a person and go like, well, where was she for these 12 years? And why don't these records match? Like I can lose an entire day. It's so good.
So why is reinvention less about courage and more about clarity?
I think courage is such a vague term. It doesn't have a lot to hold on to. I
Okay.
mean, you can tell somebody just be brave, but if they don't have a target for their bravery, you can't do anything with the feeling.
Sure.
So to have something that you want to strive for, whether it's starting a podcast, starting your own company so that you can go out as an independent product designer, whatever it is, you need that clarity of focus to pull you forward. Courage is like, I think the feeling of courage is being pushed towards something like just jump off the cliff because the parachute will open. Just jump. But if your focus is, I want to hit that target at the bottom of this mountain, I'm going to do everything that it takes, including ensuring my own safety, that I can reach that target. Stepping off that cliff is going to be a lot easier
Hmm.
because your courage is what's behind you, supporting you, not the thing that's shoving you.
No, that would be the fear.
Yeah, that's the fear.
Yeah.
Right. But developing that clarity can be really hard for people. A lot of people come to me and say, I don't remember what I like. I don't, re- it's not that I just don't remember who I'm like. I don't remember what I like because all of my interest and energy has been taken over by these random projects at my job, and I'm supposed to be interested in those, which I barely am, but they've dropped hobbies. They don't have interests beyond watching TV. Like they need to reconnect with what brings them a sense of flow that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And getting into a flow state is a beautiful, privileged, creative space
Mhm.
that people don't often have time for. But if we dig a little bit, we can find it. Like somebody might say, you know what, I really love coaching my kids' soccer team. And I find flow in there. I can't keep track of time. It's so fun.
Yeah.
We're after the clues that are hidden in those flow moments because every single one of them offers you some nugget that you can take forward and turn into something that will be your new job.
Yeah. It's yesterday. I actually had a guest yesterday, and he was very heavy into the flow, and it was just like you say when you have those moments where you're just in sync and just not realizing, like, you're just so engulfed in it and not realizing that you've been doing it 2-3 hours because you've enjoyed it so much. Like I've had just even with just conversations with people where the conversation has just been so enriching. It was just so enlightening for me, and it was just next you know we're looking up. It's like, oh man, we've been talking for like an hour and a half. Like
Yeah.
it's those moments that like I'm just I love those.
Yeah. And I think it's important to point out people know this, but I feel like it should be said anyway. Flow is not doom scrolling.
Oh no.
You can lose yourself in Instagram for 2 hours. That is not the same thing.
No, because I feel when I know when I'm in that zone, in that flow zone, it's more of the tran the the transfer of energy between me and that person, if or whatever it is that I'm doing. It just it's just a completely like doom scrolling. Like you're not gaining anything from it. Like when I feel when I'm in the flow and I'm doing something that is it's enriching my soul to me personally. Like I'm really like engulfed in it because it's something that it's making me feel a certain way inside. That to me is not. That's when I'm in flow.
Yeah, and you touched on exactly the right thing. It's how you feel after.
Yeah.
After you have that engaging conversation with a guest, like I'm guessing once that's done, you're kind of
Fire.
buzzing and
Mhm.
excited. I know for me, after an hour of scrolling, it's like I've just eaten an entire bag of chips and I feel disgusting.
It's draining. No, it is. It absolutely is. And one of the prime examples was when I first started podcasting. It was a day I had scheduled like 4 interviews, like
Whoa.
back to back, right? And by the fourth by the fourth interview, my guest had knew I had 3 guests prior throughout the day, and at the end of that show, they were like, "Thank you." I was like, "Why?" They're like, "Cause she said she was like, I know you did 3 shows prior to this, but it's you still have all this energy," and I was like, "Well, cause it was just all 3 conversations prior to this were some great conversations, so it wasn't draining or taxing on me. It was I was charged and wired. So by the time I was to that fourth interview, I was still going off the other 3. So I didn't realize, but I was. She was like, "Thank you for you still had." I was like, I didn't realize because it was just so. To me, it wasn't. It was just I was just doing something that I loved, so it wasn't draining. It was more fulfilling for me. There was a point of even when I brought it up to a guest that I felt kind of selfish, right? Because I was enjoying my podcast
Yeah.
so much, and I just felt like, but a guest point out like, but your listeners are getting so much value from it because they see, they feel, they hear how you love what you're doing and the conversations that you're having, and so they're like, there's nothing selfish about you wanting to grow and develop, but at the same time you're sharing this information. And I was like, true, that does make sense. I am sharing. It's not like I'm hoarding these episodes.
Right.
People are out here listening to them. So yeah. So, but like I said, I felt kind of selfish because I was enjoying these conversations because it was so beneficial to me. Like I've grown so much just from these interviews. So I know the benefit that I've gotten from it. So it was like I was like, man, should I be enjoying this much?
Okay, again, you're coming up with these amazing nuggets that are so relevant to people in midlife who are feeling stuck. Like,
Mhm.
this is the goal. We want to be able to say to ourselves, I get to do this. Like, I feel like I'm getting all the benefit here. Other people seem to like to be around me, but I get to be energized all the time.
Mhm.
We're probably doing something in our daily lives right now, even if it's at a job that we don't like. There's something in there where we're like, ooh, this task. Ooh, this thing I like. Oh, I get to go to a meeting with that person. Ooh, we get to do a brainstorming thing. Like, if you can tune into the things that give you energy, where at the end of them, you're alert and focused and you feel great, write down every single one of those things.
Mm.
And I would issue that as a challenge. Spend the next 2 weeks and write down everything that you do where you feel great at the end, that is energy giving, that is life giving. And it doesn't matter if any of them relate to each other, right? It could be, a pickleball game followed by playing that dumb video game with your son, to being in a brainstorming meeting about something where, you come up with a bunch of dumb ideas and none of them work. Who cares? Because they're all clues.
Yeah. What mindset shift helps people stop romanticizing their old role?
I think one of the basic mindset shifts is to realize that all the roles are made up. They're all just invented, and your title means something at one company and something totally different at another company. And neither of them define the true source, the true creative source of who you are. And it can be kind of a bummer to have that mindset shift because it can feel like, well, then what did I just spend 20 years chasing? And I would encourage people, just don't go down that rumination spiral. There's nothing good at the bottom of that. You were adapting to a system and you were succeeding within that system, and that's great. Congratulate yourself, give yourself credit for making it through that. And now you get to figure out who you are now and who you'd like to be going forward. What type of person do you want to be? Do you want to be the type of person who says, I am nobody without the vice president title? Or do you want to be the type of person who says, I'm pursuing what I love and I don't care what anybody calls me?
Yeah. So what does ownership actually look like in this next chapter?
Ownership.
Well, it doesn't have to be ownership of a business. It's just like just ownership of it all, even of your life, basically.
Yeah, I think it's that reclaiming of your autonomy. I think that's really the nugget of it, where you're self-directed and you're not being directed by people who have no idea what they're doing. Because that's deeply demoralizing. Where you get to own your time and how you spend your energy and where you focus and who you spend that time with. I mean, this is the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah.
That we can direct the precious days that we have left on this earth in a way that helps us feel great, that we're being of service in a way that we want to be of service,
Mhm.
and that we have a thread of meaning or purpose that's drawing us forward.
And a key word that you said was service, and that was something that for me was lacking, was finding that purpose and what was I was what was my purpose, what was I supposed to do, what like like you said, I had the fancy title at the job and but what was my true purpose? And so when I discovered I had a voice, and I discovered that I did have something to offer, and that I did create something that people can benefit from, and that I was serving others.
Yeah.
And that when I realized that, I was like, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
What I want. That's and I realized that even because one of my things, even at work now, is teaching people the job. Like teaching, I love teaching. Like to me, being able to to show someone how to launch their podcast. I've launched a beta course on doing that,
Yeah.
and so many different things. But I've realized that serving others and teaching others is something that is fulfilling to me. That was my purpose. That is something that I want to continue to do.
Yeah. And did you know that before, or did you realize it while as you did it and collected evidence for it?
There's always been something in me that said, because there's always been a part of me that knew that teaching and serving others was something that I really was. That was really something that was in the back of my head. Like I think this is where you need to be.
Yeah.
I don't know what what role and what, but you need to be somewhere where you're able to help and show others whatever it is that I'm meant to show them. So it's given me that direction and that push and 'cause I've like I said in these 5 years I've done so many things that I'm proud of. One of the things was I went and I became a certified life coach.
Nice.
It was me just like investing in myself and wanting to improve, and the course was more for me than anything else. Just but once I got into it and I started really learning more and started using it on myself, basically just developing myself, it was like, oh man, yeah, this is it. This is where I want to be. This
Yeah.
is the lane, coaching and helping and teaching and yeah, so that's where I'm geared towards, and that's I've started the new year off with a bang. I'm helping a friend launch her podcast and coaching her through that, and so yeah, it's been once I've finally realized that that's the lane that I wanted to be. That's when things really started falling into place.
Yeah, I love that you said that because what you did was you took a series of actions to test your initial idea of where you wanted to be, right? You're like, "Hey, I think I need to be somewhere where I can teach people. I don't know what it is yet. I'm not sure what it's going to look like." But then you tried stuff and you gathered evidence.
Yeah.
One of my favorite proverbs is all knowledge is rumor until it is in the bones.
Mm.
And it says to me that finding a purpose or figuring out your next path is not a thought exercise. You can't research your way there. You can't even take classes to figure it out. You have to get out into the field and try stuff
Mhm.
and get that feedback in your body for whether it's right or not.
Yeah, and you'll know, like look,
You'll know.
for me, it's been being it's just and it's been crazy because like people that friends that I've known for years who've listened to episodes or like they'll send me messages that they're like, yo, I've been on a fence on something and listening to this episode with you and this person has really pushed me, like, because it was a conversation that me and a high school friend we had, and he's a successful real estate broker in New York City, and we had a great conversation. We was talking about manifestation and self development and be, just believing in yourself and just believing in in growth and developing yourself. And she had heard the episode, and she had been on the fence about starting her business. And here she is hearing two of her high school friends talk about
Yeah.
business and development and all these other different things. She was like, if these two guys that I know personally
Yep.
are doing this, why can't I?
Yeah.
Why is it why? And so she took that leap and started her business. But it was receiving that message from her that listening to you guys made me question, like, I know these two guys that I know them personally.
Yeah. This Joker? This
Yeah,
guy?
yeah, like I know them. So like if they can do stuff like this, what is stopping me from taking that leap? And when I get messages like that, it's like, okay, all
That's
right,
the best, right?
yeah, those are the moments. Those are the ones that you're like, okay, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah, yes, it is. So if someone's listening feels trapped between who they were and who they want to become, what do you want them to remember right now?
I want them to remember that they already are. You already are a worthy and creative person. It's already in there. It might be like you might have to clear away some cobwebs, some some beliefs about yourself that aren't true, some corporate jargon has got to get out of there. But you're not trying to become a new person. We're trying to reconnect with who you've always been. One way to do this is what I like to call an essence exercise. Here's what it is.
Okay.
You find 10 people who know you very well. They can be family members, they can be friends, they can be close coworkers, whoever it is that knows you well and will be responsive to your request. And you ask them this: what am I like when I'm operating at my best? Some people are going to give you single words. You're funny, whatever, right? But some people are going to say, let me tell you this story. Let me tell you the story of when your true qualities really shined through. And you're going to gather all of this evidence of who you are at your very best, because sometimes we're not the most reliable self-reporters, especially if we're feeling crappy about ourselves. We're like, I don't know, I guess I'm on time. Like we're going to come up with weak sauce things, right? But the people who know you and love you, they really see you. So let them give you some evidence of what a baller you are. And then believe it.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that right? So at work, at the end of every shift, I go to my crew and everybody, and I tell them great day. I tell them that, like, I tell them, hey, great job today, and this is something I do every day. The other day I didn't do it, and one of my coworkers called me out on it the next day because we was having a conversation. I said, you know what, for 2026, I'm gonna just be brutally honest, and so the next day I come to work and she says, remember we said we were going to be brutally honest for 2026? I said, yeah. She says, well, I'm a little disappointed in you. And I was like, okay, well, why? She says, because you're one of the only few supervisors at the end of the day, every day, that goes around and tells us, good job. And you don't know how much that really means to a lot of us. She says that is something that I look forward to. I look forward to every day from you. So, but when you didn't say it yesterday, it kind of
I
hurt.
noticed. Yeah.
She says, "I want you to know that we notice these things. We know these things." And I was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I apologize. And again, but it's great to have those friends that are comfortable to be like, hey,
Yep.
this is something that's great about you. This is what I love that you do that not everyone does. Continue to do this because it's this is a great trait. So when you brought that up, that because it just happened the other day, so it was still fresh in my mind. And yeah, it was like it made me feel like wow, like I'm doing something correct. Because if just me not saying great job at that like really bothered that person, it was like that meant something to me. That meant like when they take what I say personally, they take it seriously and personally. So
Yeah.
it was
And
good.
they feel appreciated by you.
Yeah,
And that's a skill that you can help people feel appreciated. Not everybody can do that.
and so and but it was to me it was like oh when she told me that I was like oh man like I went like you're absolutely right I didn't say and it's not an excuse but it had something had happened that kind of took like just kind of threw me off my game for a minute and so it was like but but her telling me and bringing it up to me and it it, it was like all right thank you I appreciate that and so
It's also a good reminder that people are really paying attention.
yeah
Like we might be in our jobs feeling stuck and feeling terrible about ourselves, but people really are noticing and appreciating particular things about you. So give them the opportunity to tell you what they are.
yeah
Because it's actually, I mean, it might sound like a burden to ask people this question. Who am I? Like, what am I like when I'm operating at my best? You might feel anxious about asking it, but people can't wait to share that with you.
yeah
They're excited. So let them do that too. Give them that joy.
absolutely but we've come to the part of the show where you get the spotlight and you get to plug away let everybody know where they can find you websites everything.
Yeah. I have a podcast called Burn the Map, and you can find that wherever you find podcasts. And my website is burnthemapcoaching.com.
All right. Thank you so much for being a guest. Thank you again for your patience. I apologize for my tardiness.
All good?
Thank you. This has been wonderful. I've had a great time with this. But don't leave just yet. Let me close out the show and we'll chat a little bit off the air. But
Okay,
thank
great.
you so much for being a guest. I greatly appreciate your time. This has been awesome.
You bet. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure's been all mine. All right, everybody. Another great episode. If this conversation hit home, share it with a Gen X professional who's quietly questioning their next chapter. We don't reinvent alone. We do it together. So I hope everybody have a blessed night. Peace out.